know it's been a while, so it's time for a book. If I Ran the Circus. In all the whole town, the most wonderful spot is behind Sneelock's store in the big vacant lot. It's just the right spot for my wonderful plans, said young Morris McGurk. If I clean up the cans. See the empty lot there? Now a fellow like me, said young Morris McGurk, could get rid of this junk with a half-hour's work. I could yank up those weeds and chop down that dead tree and haul off those old cars. There are just 2 or 3, and then the whole place would be ready, you see. All ready to put up the tents for my circuit. I think I will call it the Circus McGurkus. The Circus McGurkus, the world's greatest show on the face of the earth or wherever you go. The Circus McGurkus, the cream of the cream. The Circus McGurkus, the circus supreme. The Circus McGurkus, colossal, stupendous, astounding, fantastic, terrific, tremendous. I'll bring in my acrobats, jugglers and clowns from 1,033 faraway towns to the place that you'll see 'em in, ladies and gents, right behind Sneelock's store in the great McGurk tents. And I don't suppose old Sneelock will mind when he suddenly has a big circus behind. After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends. You think you could do that to one of your friends? He might even help out doing small odds and ends. Doing little odd jobs he could be of some aid, like selling balloons or pink lemonade. I think the 500 gallons will be about right, and then I'll be ready for opening night. What an opening night, what a night, what a sight. I'll hoist up the curtains, the crowds will crowd in, and my Circus McGurkus will promptly begin. With a welcoming toot on my welcoming horn, by my horn-tooting apes from the jungles of Jorn, where the very best horn-tooting apes are all born, 'cause the very fresh air is fine in their lungs, and some of those fellows have 2 or 3 tongues. Look at these dudes. This way, step right in this way, ladies and gents. My sideshow starts here in the first of my tents. When you see what goes on, you'll say no other circus is half the great circus the Circus McGurkus is. Look at that. Hang on. Here on stage 1 from the ocean of Ulf is the sight most amazing, a walrus named Rolf. See him? Who can stand on 1 whisker, this wonderful Rolf, on the top of 5 balls, 2 for tennis, 3 golf. It's a marvelous trick. It's a marvelous trick, if I say so myself. Look at that crazy thing. And on stage number 2, here's something quite new. From a county called From comes this drum-tummied snum, who can drum any tune that you might care to hum. Doesn't hurt him a bit, 'cause his drum-tummy's numb. Oh boy, that was hard to say, wasn't it? Drum-tummy's numb. And you'll now meet the Foon, the remarkable Foon, who eats sizzling hot pebbles that fall off the moon. And the reason he likes them red hot, it appears, is he greatly enjoys blowing smoke from his ears. Of course, pebbles like this are quite hard to collect, but Sneelock will manage, somehow, I expect. After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends, and I'm sure he'll help out doing small odds and ends. And on stage number 4, see the Willy Walloo, who can throw his long tail as a sort of lasso. With a flip of the hip with a tail of this kind, he can capture whatever is standing behind. He can capture old Sneelock. I'm sure he won't mind. Look, there's Sneelock right there. And now here is a hoodwink who winks his hood. Without a good wink hood, a hoodwink can't wink good. And folks, let me tell you that there's only one circus with wink-hooded hoodwinks, the Circus McGurkus. The show of all shows, there's no other showman who shows you a show with a blindfolded bowman. The blindfolded bowman from Brigger Baboot, the world's sharpest sharpshooter. Look at him shoot through the holes in 4 donuts. Look at that. Look at that craziness. 2 hairs on a worm and the knees of 3 birds without making them squirm. And then, a crabapple up on the head of Sneelock, who likes to help out, like I said. Look at that. And now come to this spot when the spotlight is hot, and you'll see in the spotlight a juggling jot who can juggle some stuff you might think he could not, such as 22 question marks, which is a lot, also 44 commas, and also 1 dot. That's the kind of a Circus McGurkus I've got. But that's just my sideshow, a start, a beginning. This way to the big tent, you'll find your head spinning. Why, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters, your heads will quite literally spin off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get into your seats in the tent of all tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. Ooh, wonder what they're going to do. You'll see Drum Major Sneelock fling-flang his baton, and my organ McGurkus come on, with his hot steaming pipes of gold brass-plated tin, snorting all sorts in bumbling din. That's a super stupendous, tremendous chorus, and when I play Dixie, please join in the chorus. Then a tough, muffled truffle will ride on a huffle, and next in a line, a fine flummox will shuffle. Oh my gosh, this is hard. The flummox will carry a lurch in a pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail. While on top of the flummox, 3 harp-twanging snarp will twang mighty twangs on their 3-snarper harp. While a bolster blows bloops on a 3-nozzle blueser, a nolster blows floops on a 1-nozzle nooser. And then comes a lion who's partly a trout. And then more stuff for 45 minutes about. Look at all this craziness. You might need to pause so you can look at all that stuff, because there's so much going on. And then behind them, when everyone snares, comes my to and fro marchers, who march in 5 layers. The fros march on toes, and the twos and the twos march on fros. Don't know how that they do it, but that's how it goes. And now comes an enormous, no former performers perform this performance. This stunt is too grippingly, slippingly frightening. Down from the top of my tent like grease lightning, through pots full of lots of sticklebush trees, slides a man, what a man, on his roller skis. And he'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Sneelock, the man who takes chance after chance. And he won't even rip a small hole in his pants. And now, here in this cage is the beast most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious, who growls, howls, and yowls the most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds, and he chews up and eats with the greatest of ease things like carpets and sidewalks and people and trees. But the great Colonel Sneelock is just the right kind of a man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Then I'll let Sneelock off for a few minutes' rest, while high over your heads you will see the best of the world's fanciest, breezy trapezing, my Zoom-a-Zoop troop from the West Upper Bendizing, who never quite know, while they zoop and they zoom, whether which will catch which one, or who will catch who, or if who will catch which by the what and just where, or just when and just how, in which part of the air. Hey, what a circus, my Circus McGurkus. My workers love work. They say, work us, please work us. We'll work and we'll work up so many surprises you'll never see half of it if you had 40 eyes. Do you think you have 40 eyes? 40. That's a lot of eyes. And now, again, Sneelock, brave Sneelock is back, risking life on my patented life-risking track. See him? While the speedsters I call my colliding collusions race round in swift cars called abrasion contusions, and Sneelock just lies there, not one bit excited. I know he won't mind. He'll be simply delighted. See him? Sneelock has to do a lot of stuff. And here is in a contest of brute strength and muscle, Kid Sneelock, my champ of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly. See him? And slap him around, and then he'll slam him down fastly and pin both his shoulders tight flat to the mat. Kid Sneelock will love it. I'm sure about that. And while that goes on there, look at this go on here. Have you heard of my herd through horns jumping deer? Every deer jumps through horns of another pell-mell, while his horns are jumped through it at the same time as well, but by a deer whose horns also are being jumped through by another who's having his thorns jumped through too, which I'm sure trainer Sneelock can train them to do. See Sneelock over there? Then the whole tent will ring with hoorays and wild shouts while I wheel in my whales, and they turn on their spouts. See that? First my whale number 1 will, with an aim that aims true, spouts a spout that spouts Sneelock to whale number 2. And then whale number 2 spouts his spout like a gun. And that spout spouts old Sneelock right back to whale 1. And then forwards and backwards on spout after spout, my gray spout rider Sneelock gets spouted about, just as long as the water they're spouting holds out. Look at that. Poor Sneelock. He's doing it again. Then my tournament knights, noble apes without fears, Sir Hector, Sir Vector, Sir Bops, and Sir Beers, Sir Hawkins, Sir Dawkins, Sir Jocks, and Sir Jeers, clamber into the tent, and while everyone cheers, stage a roustabout joust with their boxing glove spears. There's a crazy circus if I ever heard. And while all this wild ruckusing goes on below in the top of the tent, look, the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock. Look at him now. The world's bravest type. He comes pulled through the air by 3 Subrian snipe. Those are the snipe right there. On a dingus contraption attached to his pipe. And while people below are all turning chalk white and all biting their fingernails off in their fright, great Sneelock soars up to a terrible height. Then he shakes himself loose and he starts down in a dive, such as no man on earth could come out of alive. But he smiles as he falls. You see him up there? Right here? And no fear does he fear. His nerves are like iron, his muscles like steel, and he plunges down, down, with his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. Then he'll land in a fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask me how he'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Why, he'll be a hero. Of course he won't mind when he finds that he has a big circus behind. The end. I hope you like that book. It's pretty long. I love you.